All right, welcome back to another episode of Alissa and Jay. In today's video, we're going to talk about live streaming and how to set it up for multicam setup. I'm going to use OBS Studio software for this live stream, and I'm going to also talk about a lot about microphones and audio interfaces and how to get your audio right. And I think that is more important than the video as well. And here you are able to see two cams that I'm using, and also I'm screen sharing as well. So you have three scenes over here. So if I were to just show the screen, this is my OBS Studio software, and I can have me and the display as well. So you can resize it so that you're able to see what I'm doing here. And also on the left side, you see multiple scenes. I can switch between them. So for example, the two cameras, my overhead camera over here, and also the camera that's actually streaming me, all these things you're able to see. And this is how you can set up your live stream. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to get the audio right, which audio devices to not buy or invest money on, which audio devices to get for your live streams, and which works better in which kind of situation. So these are the things that we are going to talk today. And first I want to show my setup here. Here I have my overhead camera, which is actually going to point later to my table where I show the audio interfaces and audio devices. I'm going to talk about how to set this camera up so that you get the live stream going on. Right now, this camera is again connected to the external battery, a dummy battery that's getting power from an external power bank. I'm not using the internal batteries like these. I will explain everything in a bit. So before anything, I want to talk about the number of devices that I'm using. So I want to switch to this screen so I can talk more about it. So this is a new scene that I made. Yeah, let me just pull it up. Yeah, so here we have two scenes over here. Let me just point it here. Yeah. First scene is actually me talking into the camera. So this is going to be the kind of video that you want. And also the other scene is actually from the point of view of this camera pointing towards the camera that's actually recording me. You can have a better view over here. So if I were to zoom out a bit, you can see that DJI Pocket 3 is what's recording me. Why I choose DJI Pocket 3 is because you can record for a long period of time without the camera getting overheated or camera shutting down, which happens more often in cameras like these. These are like mirrorless cameras, full frame sensors, and it has more potential to shut down very often because of overheating issues. But if you were to use the dummy batteries, there's less chance of cameras shutting down. And now I'm going to change the view over here. So, yeah, as you can see here, I just changed the view, and now it is pointing to my table where I can zoom out a bit, and I can show you the audio interfaces. And before that, I want to show you that the things that I'm using today is very simple. I'm not using anything like streamer and such, which you don't actually need. I don't use any streaming devices like Rode Streamer X or something, which is totally not required. You can just use your computer and any sort of webcam. That's more than sufficient. So I will show you how to do it using the OBS Studio software. So let me switch it back to this view. All right, so now we have two cameras. One is actually the DJI Mic 2, and you're able to see the screen. And also I want to show you that I have my computer on my left, and also I have a monitor on my right. So whatever I'm sharing on the screen is actually from the monitor, so which is convenient for me, especially in long live stream sessions. On one side I can look at the chat, on the other side I can look at what I'm presenting. So that's very important for me. That's why I use an external display. And also, how do I set it up, right? So let's say you want to start with setting up the HP monitor for live streaming. And I'm going to show you two scenes. I'm going to delete two scenes, first of all. So this is A7C2. This is the scene from A7C2, which I'm going to delete now. and this is the scene from HP. So these are two scenes that you might need for other scenes. So you can actually nest the scenes as well. So let's look at them. Right. So now that I have removed the HP and I have removed the A7C2, you're only able to see me from this Pocket 3. And now I want to start with setting up the scenes. So let me share my screen here. Okay, I will not be able to show you unless I set it up. So let me do it this way. I will call it as HP. Okay, so this is why you need a HDMI display. When you're switching between the scenes, it doesn't get interrupted. I'm sorry, I was talking blind and you're not able to listen. I'm so sorry. Okay, so whenever you're switching between the scenes, what happens is that the audio might cut off. So yeah, this is super important. That's why you use the HDMI. Otherwise, your audio might get cut off. So let me quickly do this. And once I set it up, I can show you properly. All right, so you're able to see my screen here. So this is why it is this way is because this is a 1080 output and the canvas is actually like 4K, and that's why you're not able to see that. So it's gonna cut off in the middle. I have added the audio, so it's not going to cause any inconvenience. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna share my screen using the A7C2. Yeah. This way you will be able to see what I'm doing. So what happens is that whenever I'm creating a scene, if I'm not including the audio, the main audio, which is super important, the audio might get cut off. So here, this is the scene, right? And here we have the other scene. And whenever you set the scene, you have this video audio as well, which you don't use. All right. So let me go to create a scene, right? So if I'm going to create a scene, the scene comes up over here and you can name the scene. Yeah, so this is much better. You can name the scene something like chat, right? So chat already exists, so I can remove. So I'm going to start creating a scene. So you start with clicking on this button over here to create the scene. I'll move it here. So you can call it as chat. So once the chat is created, the scene goes over here. So if I click that, it's going to change back to the chat. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to click it, and this is where you add the audio. Imagine that I click over there, and now you can go to the scenes and create the audio. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you what it is. All right, so now you're able to see only the blank screen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add another source over here, and which is in turn going to bring up the other scene. Just give me a second. Display capture. I'm going to call it as ASUS. And this ASUS will be here, right here. So as you can see here, this is the ASUS screen. This is actually my dashboard of my live stream from YouTube, and you're able to see the screen. But the way you add this is basically choosing the existing scenes from there. So let's say I want to add an existing scene and call it as chat plus a view. You go to a scene, create a scene. It's going to become blank if you're going to create a scene. So I'm not going to show you. Once you name that scene and go into that, you have the option to choose multiple scenes, multiple existing scenes. So what I'm going to do now here is I'm going to add the existing chat scene over to the sources. So this is how you have the option to do that. Here you have the existing source. So you can add a chat over here, and this pops up. Now you have the chat in the front. I want to pull it to the back. So you can rearrange so that I appear on the front, and you can move me around. So clicking on the pocket 3, that is the actual source, you can move me around and you can show the chat. So this is how you can add multiple scenes to it. And you can rearrange the source scenes. I would call it as source scenes over here. So on the left, you're able to see a lot of scenes. Okay, you're not able to see. Let me present it this way. So let me quickly do that. All right, so you should be able to see now. This is the OBS Studio software, right? On the left, you're able to see all the scenes. I have it as a combination, right? So let me zoom it in so that you don't see the inception stuff. So first, you have the option for creating a scene. So once you create a scene, name it, and then once you create a scene, you would go to the sources over here. And once you select the source, if you want to use any of the capture devices, you choose display capture, or you can choose media sources, or you can choose video capture devices. So let's say you're using a cam link or something, you can use that. Or for this purpose, I'm using this video camera, that is the Sony a7C II as the capture device, and can do that as well. So here it is showing the existing capture devices. I can choose any of them. And just to show you what I have done here, HP, Me, and A7C II, you can already see that there is DJI Pocket 3. I'm going to add another device from the scene, from the existing scene, that is the HP. Okay, so HP comes up over here, but I want HP to be on the back. And secondly, I want to bring up another scene, that is A7C II. So basically, I have brought up A7C2, HP and everything, but A7C2 is in the front, which I don't want. So I'm going to put it in the top. So basically, oh no, it's asking me to verify. For some reason, it's asking me to verify again. I hope the internet stream health is okay. Yeah. All right. So you understand. So you basically create scenes and you add multiple sources or scenes into it. But every time you create a new scene, make sure that you have the source right. So here I have the source as audio. Okay, I have to show it that way only. So if I were to change the scenes, it's gonna change everything. So basically, whenever you create a scene, you're going to make sure that the source is right. So to get the source right, you might need to go to yeah, I cannot show it here, but I can show it this way. So basically, yeah, I can show it this way. So this is actually A7C2 pointing to the display. And for this, I'm using it as video capture device. Let me focus on that part. So here I'm choosing the video capture device. And this video capture device, if you click on this, properties, it will show you what are the properties option you have. And depending on the properties, you can choose which device you want to choose and you can configure it accordingly. So that's how you can do it. And we'll go back to this scene again. Here, let me point it down. I hope you understand. First, you create the scenes and then you add the sources or scenes into it to create this effect. Here, I have a separate scene for the audio. Why it is important is because I'm using a different audio source from the microphones from these two cameras. So I have one camera that is DJI Mic 2, sorry, DJI Pocket 3 that can use DJI Mic 2, but I'm also using something called A7C2, which also has the capability to record audio, but I'm not using that either. Also, I'm sharing my computer screen, which also has the capability to record audio, which I'm still not doing. Instead, I'm using a microphone, which is a standalone microphone, which can give you amazing quality because the audio that's being taken into the system is actually 24-bit audio quality, which is higher than the 16-bit what you get from any of the transmitted audio into these microphones. So for example, here I have Rode Wireless Pro, right? So let me do it this way. So here I have Rode Wireless Pro, and this can get the transmitted signal from a receiver, Rode Wireless receiver. But the problem is once it gets the receiver received signal, it's going to translate it to a lower bit, which is a problem because I tried testing the Sennheiser MK600, connecting it to DJI Pocket 3 transmitter, which goes to Pocket 3 receiver, and that audio is of a lower quality than what you're listening right now. And also the same case with the Sennheiser MK600 recorded into the this camera A7C2 using this Rode Wireless Pro. And the reason is it's going to reduce the bit quite a bit every time you transfer these audio signals. So what I have done is I'm getting this signal out of the Sennheiser MK600 to an audio interface called Zoom F3. So I'm going to show that now. So here we have me and A7C2 with the audio. I'm going to include another scene. It will be A7C2. No, just the A7C2. So here you're able to see, yeah, here you're able to see my camera and me. So what I'm doing now is I'm turning it down. Okay. Here we're going to talk a lot about the signals and audio and such. What I have done is I have connected my computer to this Zoom F3 via this USB Type-C, and I have connected this microphone, Sennheiser MK600, via XLR cable to the Zoom F3, and I have opened up only one channel. So this is the channel that you're seeing is transmitting the data to my computer, and I have set that as the audio source. So if you are able to see here, this main audio source is coming from the line that is Zoom F3. So here you can see there are so many options you can choose, but I have chosen this Zoom F3. There is an option where you can set the Zoom F3 as the audio interface, and that's exactly what I'm doing for this purpose. And to get this audio right, you need to do a few more steps. So the first step, let me minimize myself a bit. The first step, okay, and also I will bring this over here, so we have more real estate to show what I'm trying to show. First step is to add filters. So what you're able to see here is the audio with two set of filters. One is the noise suppression filter, and the other one is the compressor filter. As you can see here, this room is completely not made for noise treatment. So there is zero noise treated space in here, so everything is reflective. So and also the fan from my computer is running. I have a blower to cool down my computer, and also I have the AC running, so it's like super noisy. There's also my light also has fans, even they are running. There are like so many ways you can get noise, ambient sound. But with this noise suppression, this is the kind of audio quality you're able to listen. Once I delete this, you'll be able to listen to what exactly the audio quality sound like. So I'm removing the noise suppression filter. When I keep quiet, you're able to listen to all the audio, right? So all the noise that's there. And I'm going to show you the signal. I want you to pay attention to the filter on the right. So this filter, let me zoom in even further. So here in the Zoom F3, you're able to see these noise levels. When I don't speak, the waves tend to get flat. Even though it looks like it's flat, it's not exactly flat. You're able to hear all the rumbling noise, which you can actually monitor from this. So this audio mixer is where you can see if you keep quiet what happens. You see all this signal. If you keep quiet, it still is working a lot, right? So once you introduce the noise suppression filter using the add icon over here, when you keep quiet, there's zero signal into this audio mixer, right? So this is the advantage of using this noise suppression filter. Now there is one more thing we need to do. So basically, once you set that right, I will show you by maximizing this part. So yeah, here you have the Zoom F3. Now you can set the gain depending on how much you want. So if I were to increase the gain, it's going to become very loud. Yeah, so it becomes super loud, and you can see the voice is actually reaching close to the red peaking levels. So I might want to reduce the gain a tiny bit. Yeah, now it's much more bearable in the sense that even if I shout or speak loud or get emotional, it will not reach or max out the red levels. It is reaching the red levels, which is still fine, but it shouldn't max out the red levels. So it's super important to keep an eye on the red levels in the OBS Studio software. So this is the OBS Studio software, and make sure your gain is set right. Let's say that you don't have enough gain. You see, there's 10 decibels increase. So let me delete this compressor, right? Why I use the compressor is because it's going to compress the audio and it's going to make it more bearable to listen for long periods of time. Oh, there's one more thing I haven't shown you. There is also a high pass filter right into this microphone, which I have not engaged. If I were to engage, all this dynamic sound that you're able to listen now will go off. So I will show that as well. So now you're listening to the audio without the compressor on. So you see the levels. It has reduced to minus 10 decibels, reduced by minus 10 decibels, which is going to make it much lower audio. So I want to use a compressor for two reasons. One, to add gain, and also to make it more bearable to listen for long periods of time. All right. So this is what we get by using two set of filters. It's very convenient to use it this way. That's it. That's what you need to do for audio. Basically, in a nutshell, you make sure that you have a proper audio interface. If you don't have a proper audio interface, it's still fine. I will show you another way if you have the proper device to record the audio as well. So this is one way to do it. And the filters are super important, and also make sure that you have enough gain. So this is the main audio. I'm going into the audio page. You will not be able to see me or the screen, but you don't need to go to that page. You can control the gain of the main audio mixer over here in the audio mixer tab. So you can just reduce or increase the audio levels and control the gain here as well if you need to. Let's say after introducing multiple filters, you feel like if the gain is still high, then you can control your gain right from here. I want to keep it at 0 for the time being. And the benefit of setting this main audio is that when you're switching between multiple scenes, once you add the audio, it doesn't change. You can still keep talking. So one more thing I want to show you is the gates. So here you have something called scene transitions, right? So scene transitions are something super important as well. As you can see here, if I'm switching between multiple scenes, it fades off, right? Now I will change this transition to swipe. It's gonna swipe off. So if you like this kind of transition, you can use that. It's just, cool, I would say, just to have something different. There is also cut. Cut is pretty simple. It's just gonna flip. That's it. But I think I like the fade better. It's just smooth. You can adjust the smoothness of the transition duration over here as well. So this is open source software. It's for free, and you're able to do so many things when it's still free. And that's the thing I love about the OBS Studio software. It's like completely usable in many different ways. And so this is how I use it. And I also want to talk about something. Yeah. Now let's see a different way of recording audio. So I will move this Zoom F3 a bit. And if you have something like a Rode NT1 Gen 5, for example, so these are spare batteries. I'm not using it because one, they cause heat, and two, they tend to shut down pretty fast. So I don't use them anymore. I rather use the dummy battery. And here is Rode NT1 Gen 5. Is my favorite microphone. And why I don't use this microphone for this video is because whenever I use this microphone for live stream with the noise suppression filter, the noise suppression filter tend to work not so okay. So I don't use this microphone as much for live streams. I think I would stick with the shotgun microphone. Usually I use the shotgun microphone for a very different purpose. So it's mostly to be used outdoors, but I don't use it outdoors. Why? Because for live stream it works great, especially with the noise suppression turned on. So here I want to show you. This is like a dual connector. That's what the Rode call it as. So what it has is, one, it has the XLR XLR connector, and 2, it also has a USB Type-C inside. So what I can do is, you have this USB Type-C. I can just plug this USB Type-C into this Rode NT1 Gen 5, and this itself becomes a audio interface. And if your driver allows, if you have a big enough sound card, this can even record in 32-bit float audio into your computer. So this is like amazing piece of kit. In case if your room is well treated, then this microphone should be the way to go. If your room is not treated for the sounds, for the audio, then this microphone shouldn't be used if you're to use the noise suppression filter, because what happens is this microphone collects even wider range of signals from compared to the Sennheiser MK600, and because of those wide signals, when the noise suppression is applied, it actually works adversely to how it should work. So it is not able to compress the audio and then apply the noise suppression. Rather, it applies noise suppression and it tends to become super aggressive, that it allows higher frequency and lower frequencies when there is an audio signal. So it's going to allow the complete bandwidth, which is like you're turning on the switch when you don't speak, and you turn off the noise suppression when you speak. So it's very bad actually. So that's why I don't like to use Rode NT1 Gen 5 with the noise suppression turned on. And that's about this microphone. And let's say if you want to crop the scene, for example, I think I haven't shown you this. So now you're looking at A7C2 and you want to crop the scene, right? What you can do is you can add another filter, something like a crop or pad, and you can crop the top. So if I keep increasing, excuse me. So as you can see here, it's slowly increasing. Yeah, it has cropped the top completely. I can close it. You can see here, it's like super cropped. So this is something you can do as well if you need to crop, right? It's super convenient in so many ways. So that's why I love this OBS Studio software, and it's also free. And that's the best part about the software. Yeah, I think I have made it. Yeah. So now this looks like the main videos being displayed is the signal from A7C2. So that's about it for now. One more thing I want to show you is if I were to engage the high pass filter with this microphone, this is how it sounds. You can see instantly the change that occurred, that the low frequencies are completely taken out, which is something that I don't want actually. I want the low frequencies to be there because it creates some level of dynamic range for the audio signal, and it creates a much clearer audio actually. So that's what I care about. So whenever I live stream, the most important factor is more than video is actually the audio, because sometimes for this level of, staying in the corner kind of videos, you don't need a 4K live streaming device. All you need is just a webcam. 1080p webcam is more than sufficient. Usually the webcams don't overheat either, but I choose to use the Pocket 3 is because once I set this active tracking, yeah, you are able to see the Pocket 3 tracking me. So this is something super cool, I would say, with the Pocket 3. And that's why I choose to use the DJI Pocket 3, and I can still zoom in. And I think nowadays there are so many other devices which can do this, especially from Insta360. Now that I have zoomed in, wherever my face goes, this scene is going to follow me. Yeah, it's super nice actually. And that's why I have chosen the Pocket 3 to be my streaming device, main streaming device. And also this one to be my tabletop streaming device, A7C2, because yeah, I own it. I cannot use the Fujifilm X100VI because it shuts down very fast I have even tried it with an external dummy battery. It doesn't work that way. So this is a much better option for you to go with. What not to choose is something something that overheats fast. Like say, for example, I think Sony ZV-E10 Mark II is okay-ish. If you were to use the dummy battery, it would still perform great. For longer periods of time of recording outside, it's not feasible, but for indoors, it should be more than enough. And if you were to start live streaming, I would say Pocket 3 is best starting point, and you have to get your light right, you have to get your audio right. And to get your audio right, I think Sennheiser MK600 should be more than enough. This is the kind of audio you're getting. And also, if you were to go back, you can just adjust this microphone to an approximate direction of listening, and it becomes super, super good. You can also keep this microphone away from the frame, and still you can get good quality audio. So there are so much benefit to using these kind of devices specifically, and all you need is just these, right? So that's the best part about it. You don't have to invest much on other audio devices. You don't have to invest much on the software. You can get good audio quality right from this kind of a setup. So let's say I want to add another scene here. Let's say I'm going to put the chat right here, right? So this is like covering the entire scene. I don't want to do that. So I can do this instead. So what happens here is it's still showing the chat, and I can again add a filter here. This is a crop pad I'm going to use. I'm going to crop from the left. So let's say 1000 or 2000, maybe 1900. Yeah, so with this 1900, and I want to crop the top as well, so probably 200, and maybe bottom as well, probably 200 again. Now 150. Yeah, this looks perfect actually. So once I have done this, I can, so it went somewhere, filters. Yeah, probably I should resize and move. So now that I know the number, yeah, I will put it in the middle, and then I will resize. Go to filters, 1900. Okay, close. So now you're able to see the chat, right? It's super, super convenient in so many ways, right? Like I said, we have multiple scenes to display, multiple ways to show the chat, and we can still have really good connection overall, right? So this is what I mean by this app being like super versatile for this kind of setup. The multicam setup is super good. The audio is getting there, and you can even display whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. And that's the best part of using OBS Studio for your live stream. And best of all, it's all free, and only investment that goes into doing these live streams is actually the right gear to record however long you want. And also just a computer should do most of these things. You can use even the webcam. And one good thing that I forgot to show is actually in this, right? So there's something called NVIDIA background removal. So there are two things. If I were to use the blur filter, it's going to blur the background like this, which is still nice, right? This still looks very nice. So let me do it this way. Now let me put it this way. So I'm using the blur filter to show you how good it looks. And this is from NVIDIA. So if I were to change the filter to NVIDIA, let me close this, and Pocket 3. I'm going to use the background close. Where did I do it? Yeah, so if I were to use another filter, I'll delete this and let me use another filter called background removal. It's gonna remove the background super nice. Here it looks bad, but if you were to look at it this way, it looks nice. It's like I'm floating, and that's something is super cool. It cuts the background super nice. Even if I'm bringing my hands close like this, it's super good, especially if you overlay yourself to something else. So these are the kind of advantage you get with a free software. With free software, that's nice. So make sure you have a proper graphic card, you have proper computer to stream for a long time, and you will be good enough to start your live stream channels and get your things done. This is how you set up your multicam setup for free. If you have enough devices, you can do it with your phone as well. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching the live stream. See you in the next video.